not a liar. I have killed thousands. I have fed more drug fiends than the top 3 pharmaceutical companies combined. I have stolen children from parents, wives from husbands, wiped out entire generations. But lying, that I have never done. The rest are offenses against humanity. Lying is an offense against yourself. I am the head of the Santa Blanca organization, which you call a cartel. I had a dream. I dreamed of a land where we could grow our own coca, produce our own cocaine, where we could run our business free from interference from the police, the government, the army, the Yankees. In my dream, a woman's voice asked me,
Sueño, mijo, what if you had your own country?
Like Moses, I led my people to the promised land, Bolivia. We came here. We bought the coca fields. What we couldn't buy, we took. We bought the police, the military, the judges, the politicians. We were on the verge of becoming the government itself, on the razor's edge from fulfilling my dream. Of creating a narco-state. The nation of Santa Blanca.
Last week, a crude explosive detonated outside the U.S. Embassy in La Paz, Bolivia. 2 Marine Embassy guards were injured in the blast. 2 days later, a CIA asset in central Bolivia provided us with these images. Our analysts have identified the individual in the photo as DEA Special Agent Ricardo Ricky Sandoval, my friend. Sandoval had spent the last 6 years investigating the local cocaine industry. Our understanding is that Sandoval was the intended target of the bombing. What the embassy bomb did not accomplish was completed up close and personal. Sandoval was captured, tortured, and killed. Then his body was dumped. We have yet to recover it. Our target, the group responsible for the embassy bombing and the death of Special Agent Sandoval, is the drug trafficking organization commonly known as the Santa Blanca Cartel. Yesterday, they were just narcos. Today, they're narco-terrorists. Initially, the Bolivian government resisted the Mexican cartel. They formed Unidad, a Bolivian special forces unit. It didn't go as planned. Thousands of bodies later, politicians, police officers, and journalists have become an endangered species. The Bolivian government has imploded on itself. With no other options, the new president made a deal with Santa Blanca. You stop killing our people, we'll look the other way. Since then, Santa Blanca has turned Bolivia into the nexus of the South American drug trade. With their friends in Mexico, they also have a clear pipeline to the US and Canada. The only way to stop Santa Blanca for good is to completely dismantle them, piece by piece. The cartel is organized into 4 operations: production, smuggling, security, and influence. At the top of it all is El Jefe de los Jefes, boss of bosses, El Sueño. All right, let's do this. The Santa Blanca Cocaine Superhighway. Every year, more than 350 tons of coke leaves Bolivia, reaching about 20 million users worldwide. That means they're pulling in an average of $2 billion a week. How do they do it? 3 little words: air, land, sea. All coordinated by the head of smuggling, Nidia Flores, La Reyna de Belleza, the beauty queen, and her right-hand man, the ravishing, the bewitching, the delectable El Boquita. Ouch, somebody get that guy a Band-Aid. The problem is, you see these guys on the news, you see decapitations, you see monsters, but you don't see the whole picture. These people are fucking geniuses. Case in point, you see tits, Nidia Flores sees opportunity. You see scrap metal, Nidia Flores sees submarines. You see holy water, Nidia Flores sees liquid cocaine. Because Nidia Flores is a fucking genius. You really want to shut down the cocaine superhighway? Hit the drugs, hit the money, then hit the beauty queen.
Here's a lesson in cocaineonomics. The biggest mistake most people make is focusing solely on the product. Claro, you need something to sell, but that's not where you make the money.
1 kilo of coca leaves costs about $1.50. It takes 400 kilos of coca leaves to make 1 kilo of cocaine. Even when turned into cocaine base, a kilo is only worth $1,200 in Bolivia.
However, every time you cross a border, the value increases.
Once we reach Colombia, it's already $2,200. We hit southern Mexico, $12,000. Cross the border into Texas, $20,000. New York City, our $1,200 investment is now worth $35,000. Paris, London, $68,000 to $74,000.
It's a pipeline that carries the product to the people that need it. Sustenance for the thirsty. Once in place, the pipeline feeds itself.
Workers, vehicles, wages, bribes.
But when there's a clog in the pipe...
They took out another shipment. We lost 7 tons last week.
4 planes the week before?
the water backs up.
There's too much surplus. We can't keep it secure.
My men are selling to each other. We can't pay people if they're not moving product.
They're kidnapping civilians for ransom money.
Too much water.
We have to take Valeria and go.
He'll kill us before we leave the country.
Then what's the answer?
When I find it, I'll let you know.
And you drown. Nidia finally had the answer to her problems.
A convoy.
The investors in Mexico wanted their money. This whole time she had been trying to sneak it out to them.
Why sneak when we can force it through? Reinforced armor, heavily armed, multiple trucks, helicopter patrols, carrying $17 billion.
Mira, you can't be serious. If we lose that money, it's over. But when we're killed, what happens to Valeria?
There is no other way.
No, Reyna, we're not doing it.
Ay, Boquita, corazón. I'm not asking. I'm telling.
And who do you expect to lead this convoy?
You're the only man I trust with something this important.
But what if I don't make it back?
I would never let that happen.
No more excuses. We want our fucking money ahora.
Nidia will take care of this.
Sueño, do we need to make a change here?
Nidia has been one of our best people for years.
Maybe too many. Maybe she's lost her edge.
Over time, I had seen many buchones come and go. When you're king, you learn to lose a few nights. But Nidia Flores was different. I had taken her under my wing from a young age. She was the closest thing I would ever have to a daughter. She was my reina. If I fed her to the wolves, a part of me would die with her. You'll get your money, se lo juro. I guarantee it.
Don't make us regret this. Sostén tu palabra.
For Santísima Muerte so loved the Santa Blanca cartel that she gave us her only begotten daughter, that whoever believeth in her should not perish, but have everlasting life. Many years ago, we were in trouble, in la desesperación, on the verge of extinction, being torn to pieces by the snakes and ratas. I believed that hope was lost, that it was too late for us. Era el fin. But just when I was ready to give up, it happened. Nidia Flores came forth, known to us as la Reyna de Belleza, the beauty queen. And with her, she brought prosperity, wealth, and retribution. We feel her charity, su amor, deep in our hearts. As she continues to spread her gospel across the world, to every corner of the globe, praise to Saint Nidia, Queen of Queens, Reyna de Reinas, goddess among mongrels. My trafficking network was dismantled. No more cocaine came in. No more money went out. The drugs that remained lay there wrapped in cellophane, rotting away, becoming worthless. My men wondered where their next payout was going to come from. I had spent years building these routes. Billions of dollars in manpower, transportation, relationships, all gone. Including the beauty queen. I gave Nidia Flores everything, and she paid me back by running like a coward, instead of dying like royalty. Now she would spend the rest of her life serving the Americans. She killed her child's father for nothing. Isn't it amazing? You remove a few buchones, and the machine falls to pieces. Nidia Flores was in trouble, and she knew it. It wasn't just the drugs that were being attacked. It was the money, la bronca. Money that was supposed to have gone to our investors in Mexico, and never made it.
What are you gonna do?
No excuses, no rationalizations, no nothing. Nidia knew she had to find the solution, before the solution found her. The beauty queen failed. In total, she lost more than $17 billion. Nidia knew she was in danger. She needed more time. She needed someone to blame. She needed to make a sacrifice.
I'm so sorry, babe. For you, mi rey.
But it wasn't enough. You fucked up, mi reina. I gave her a head start. Because I loved la Reyna de Belleza. But in Bolivia, love doesn't get you very far. What's his name?
He's a doll, Theo. He doesn't have one. You have to be alive to have a name.
See, I imagine that's true. Nidia, mi reina.
Yes, mi rey.
You know this expression. I love you more than life.
Claro, of course.
I love you, my queen. But not more than life.
They say every man has a fatal flaw. El Boquita's is love. A smuggler from the age of 6, El Boquita's father used to tape Acapulco gold on his son's body and then send him across the border. He called these trips vacaciones familiares, family vacations. By the time he was 13, Boquita was a trapechiador, a master smuggler. Cigarettes, alcohol, name-brand clothes, DVDs, oil, wildlife, weapons, and of course, people. One time, he even smuggled in half a kilo of yellow cake uranium. If someone wanted it, El Boquita could move it. But it was never really about the money. For him, it was the rush. Until he met the beauty queen. Nidia Flores saw his talent and made him her right-hand man. Nidia was the brains, Boquita was the brawn. The thing is, he was head over heels from the moment he first laid eyes on her. Nidia never felt the same way, but one drunken night she gave in. A little bit of sperm roulette, and 9 months later, they had a daughter, Valeria. They say every man has a fatal flaw. El Boquita has 2. Most cartel members are violent idiots who are too high to care, but Patricio Mendez Valle, aka El Cerebro, is an oddball genius who's too fucking smart to bother. Nidia Flores spotted his intellect when he was just a kid. She sent him to college in Mexico and later grad school in California. Word is he was too strange and misanthropic for even that crowd, but he popped up on our radar. El Cerebro heads up the cartel's submersible program out of Kaimanes. From Kaimanes, his semi-submersibles, sometimes carrying as much as 10 tons of cocaine, head downriver to Brazil, then to the Atlantic. From there, floating just a few feet below the surface, they can go all the way to Mexico, even as far as Florida. But smuggling with these semi-submersibles will soon be a thing of the past. He and Nidia have ambitions to make reusable, fully submersible craft. Think what a multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise could do with a fleet of submarines. Smuggling would be just the start. If we're gonna take down these subs, we need El Cerebro and his jagged-ass brain intact and cooperative. Just remember, he's Nidia's pet project. She won't give him up easy.
The situation in eastern Kaimanes is tragic. Populations in this jungle area of Bolivia have been plagued by lymphatic filariasis, or LF. A parasitic worm spread by mosquitoes, LF can in many cases cause swelling in the arms and legs of those suffering from the condition. Here in Kaimanes, more than 20% of the population is suffering from elephantiasis, resulting in a working population that is largely disabled. The antibiotic doxycycline is a simple and affordable treatment for LF. However, there is little here in the form of government aid for these people. And since the government expelled the majority of the NGOs working in the area, the population is left to fend for itself.
So, what did you... I didn't get a damn word he said.
I know, right?
Fucking Cerebro. Might as well speak Chinese for all I know. Took me months to get invited to these meetings. I thought it would clarify what we're supposed to build here in Kaimanes. In fact, it's making it worse.
Orale. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to make El Cerebro buchón, but the culero who did should be fed his own balls.
Yet, they say he's some kind of genius. Genius. The other day I had to stay late at the lab to fix the propellers on a new soft prototype. I saw El Cerebro lying down on the floor of his office, all lights turned off, a thick line of coke drawn all around his body.
What was he doing?
Just lying there, staring at the ceiling, mumbling random numbers.
Well, that's fucked up. I don't know what drug he's on, but it sure is more potent than the Yayo they give us.
Claro.
Manta 1 to Kaimanes Station. Manta 1 to Kaimanes Station. Please come in. We have run aground approximately 300 miles south of Santarem Station. Kaimanes Station, please come in. We have run aground. I say again, we have run aground. We passed Cayepo village about 10 miles south of our location. We will abandon ship and attempt to reestablish communication once we arrive there. We're walking back? To the fucking jungle? There's jaguars in that jungle way. I don't fuck with no fucking jaguars. Well, we're not staying here. Manta 1 to Kaimanes Station. We are abandoning ship. I say again, we are abandoning ship.
Y esto va para todas las morras aquí presentes. Y este es el corrido de la Nidia. La reina, sí señor. La Nidia era tan bella que los hombres le sobraban. Enamoradiza era, se fijó en un
Though Mama and Papa Reed raised little Boyer on apple pie and the Red Sox, since graduating from high school, Boyer Boston Reed has done everything he could to shed that clean-cut image of his youth. Looking for adventure, Reed left his hometown of Lexington, Massachusetts, and became a bush pilot in South America. Medical records also tell a saga of gonorrhea, hep C, and herpes. As a pilot, he stayed clean for a number of years, but one fateful day, he met El Boquita. Within days, Reed was flying Santa Blanca's coke to Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. With the drug smuggling came the money, and Reed loves to spend it. He's chummy with Boquita, who gave him that nickname Boston because of his accent. Make no mistake, Reed may play hard, but he works harder. Now based out of Kewanee, he coordinates all of Santa Blanca's smuggling by air. He uses temporary airstrips, and his own people don't know where they are until the last possible moment. When he's working, Boston Reed is impossible to locate. And you're gonna find him.
India Hotel 39er, you're off the glide path. Abort your landing and come around for another pass.
Negative. I'm coming in now.
You're too low. You'll never reach the runway.
I can't keep this bitch in the air. She's too heavy. I don't got enough fuel to try again.
I repeat, abort immediately.
Shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing.
This is your last warning.
Yeah? Well, what the fuck are you gonna do? Take away my smuggler's license? Now, shut the fuck up and let me concentrate.
Boston, it's Nidia. Been a while. I wanted to check and see how things are going in Kewanee.
The weather's good, but the red llama is sick.
The what?
The red llama is sick.
You've got llamas?
The llama. You know what I'm talking about. The one named Antonio. He's off his feed.
Madre de Dios! No, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Will you stop with the fucking codes?
This line's not secure, Nidia. Anybody could be listening.
Nobody cares, Reed. It's Bolivia, for God's sake. Just tell me what's going on.
Everything's fine. Planes are in good shape and flights are going out on time. Only problem's Antonio. Guy's a fucking cowboy. He's undependable. Never know when the shipment's coming in from Ojocoyo. If it comes in at all.
There. Was that so fucking hard? I'll have a talk with Antonio.
Santa Muerte. Bless these planes and their pilots as they carry their precious cargo over the mountains and into the hands of our buyers. Lay your Santissima hand upon them and grant them good weather in day or night. Let them take off easily and land with grace. Bless the engines and the fuel lines. Bless the flaps and the elevators. Bless the rivets, the wire, and the duct tape holding these old birds together. Amen.
Amen.
So we are the meat at the border, and Tito has unloaded the product, and the motherfucking smuggler looks me in the eye and says the price has gone up.
How much?
Double! Can you believe the cojones on this asshole?
What did you say?
I told El Hijo de su pinche madre it had been 2 weeks since the last delivery, and what the fuck could have changed to double the price? And this cocksucker just grinned. He actually fucking grinned. And he called it inflation. Can you believe that shit? Inflation. Like we are selling fucking tamales or something.
So what did you do?
I paid a piece of shit. What else was I supposed to do? They had a product and we couldn't just stand there with our dicks out. The border patrol nearly caught us as it was.
You did the right thing, Enrique. When's the next shipment?
2 weeks.
Okay, here's what you do. Same deal as before. Only this time, you pay him half of what he agreed to. And then you shoot him in the face. Tell the rest of his crew that any more inflation gets paid in plomo, understand?
With pleasure, Jefe.
All the Sicarios in the world ain't worth piss if you don't have the accountants to wash the money clean. Octavio Allende is the accountant that does Sueño's laundry. They call him El Pulpo, the octopus, because he's got his tentacles everywhere. You take him out, a lot of other pieces no longer connect, but I want to use him as a weapon. Pulpo is management, and he knows it. Instead of an AK-47, he has a briefcase, and he uses it to open doors to businesses, to cement relationships with politicians and police, and to make the cartel's money something they can spend. Thanks to El Pulpo, in addition to its illegal enterprises, Santa Blanca has its cash in numerous legit businesses. El Sueño has brought El Pulpo to Bolivia to audit Nidia Flores. Cash from Brazil comes into Barvechos, where much of it is laundered into the mining consortium. Nidia's profits must be looking a little light.
I've had it, Boquita. I tell you, no más! No más! No más!
Tranquila, Reyna.
Did you just tell me tranquila? You did not just tell me tranquila.
El Pulpo is a fucking bookkeeper. What harm can he do?
Pinche idiota. El Pulpo is a goddamn efficiency expert. Everyone knows he wants us to move the money laundering to Montevideo. He will fucking make sure it looks like I'm costing the cartel money and that I'm not useful to El Sueño anymore.
He does it like Montevideo, doesn't he?
Boquita, you know we don't fire people in our line of work. We bury them.
Pulpo, I need you to be very tactful with Nidia.
Jefe, Señorita Flores is either intentionally hiding something, or she is completely incompetent at bookkeeping. From what I can tell, she is using a single entry system while she practices cash basis accounting. With numbers this high, with product at this volume, she should at least know how to use accrual accounting.
She is a beauty queen who started in this business as arm candy.
There are huge gaps in her books. If she were stealing from you, she could scheme the cash deposits as they come in from Brazil. She could scheme the cash as it's laundered at the bank.
I do not doubt Nidia's loyalty. You will come to Bolivia. You will audit her operation, and you will teach her how to keep better records.
In all honesty, Jefe, we should be doing all of our laundering in Uruguay digitally. Pero I will be on a plane for Bolivia in the morning.
Every week, more than 6 tons of white powder moves through Mojocoyo. It's a transit point, where shipments are kept secure, awaiting export to Brazil, the US, and Europe. Antonio is the buchon out here, the boss. His job is to keep all that coke safe. Thing is, being surrounded by cocaine all day is a really stressful job, like being the fat kid in charge of the sugar factory. And we all know what happens when you eat too much sugar. Your brain rots. You stop talking on phones. You stop trusting your own people. You stop going home to your wife. You even stop telling anyone when the shipments are coming in, until the moment they arrive. When it comes to coke transports, Antonio is a vault. And I want to crack that motherfucker open.
Mama? It's me. Gavi? Ave Maria Purísima. I was getting anxious. I don't have much time. He may come back any time. Mama, he's going loco. It's a polvo blanco. It makes him more violent. Violent? Pero, mija, you do know who you married, don't you? Mama, he looks up women from the village. He tortures them. ¿Y qué? They're just Bolivianas. I don't care about them, pero tengo miedo. I'm afraid. He thinks I'm cheating on him. He threatens me, shows me pictures of what he's done to those women. Mama, I want to get back to Mexico. Gabriela, pobrecita. What are you thinking? When I was your age, I wanted to run. Pero, when you're a narcos woman, es imposible. So, do like I did. Enjoy the dinero and, for the sake of the el bebé growing inside you, Don't stick your nose in your husband's business. Believe me, it's only for the better.
Three months ago, we used to do between 7 and 7.5 tons a week. Now when we do 6 tons, we're happy. Eso es triste.
Mi hijo, debe ser por la canícula. The weather wasn't good those last months. The consequences on the harvest were disastrous.
That's what they say, but that's too simple.
They? What are you talking about?
Yo no sé. Maybe another cartel. Look around you. Everything is giving in. They're spying on us. They corrupt our best men. Even my wife is acting weird. She doesn't smile. She makes phone calls when I'm out. And in la cama, she's colder than a corpse. Padre, if we don't pay attention, everything will collapse.
My son, you swore to Santa Muerte. You would limit your use of the polvo blanco. Are you sure you respect your oath?
Your average cat, the four-legged variety, has 9 lives. El Gato has had a lot more than that. He's been shot, stabbed, garroted, blown up, burned, thrown off a building, run over by a car, half drowned. But he always comes back. He carries a locket with his father's ashes in it around his neck. Snorts it when he needs strength. Says it's better than Coke.
It's the real power that comes from death.
A packaging manager in Romanzo province, he's been working for Santa Blanca since he was 16. His father was the plastic surgeon to the stars, movie stars, and star narcos. But then, his father had a big narco boss on the table and lost him. They both knew what that meant. A long death by torture. El Gato loved his father. So he decided not to let that happen.
It's not a stupid idea. Listen.
Go on. I'm listening.
How many potatoes you got in your house?
I got no fucking idea.
But you got some, right?
Everybody got potatoes.
But you...
3 months ago, we used to do between 7 and 7.5 tons a week. Now when we do 6 tons, we're happy. Eso es triste.
Mi hijo, debe ser por la canícula. The weather wasn't good those last months. The consequences on the harvest were disastrous.
That's what they say, but that's too simple.
They? What are you talking about?
Yo no sé. Maybe another cartel. Look around you. Everything is giving in. They're spying on us. They corrupt our best men. Even my wife is acting weird. She doesn't smile. She makes phone calls when I'm out. And in la cama, she's colder than a corpse. Padre, if we don't pay attention, everything will collapse.
My son, you swore to Santa Muerte. You would limit your use of the polvo blanco. Are you sure you respect your oath?
It's not a stupid idea.
Listen. Go on. I'm listening. How many potatoes you got in your house? I got no fucking idea. But you got some, right? Everybody got potatoes. But you don't know how many. Nobody pays attention to a fucking potato, am I right? Because you're cheap, and you can get them by the bag, and because they look like potatoes. So, we hide the cocaine in the potatoes. Yes! And we get them by the fucking truckload, and then we hollow them out, fill them with product, mix them with the real thing, and ship them wherever we want. Nobody's gonna search bags or potatoes, am I right? Holy shit! And that ain't even the best part. You know what we do then? We slice the potatoes and sell them to restaurants. They make the best fucking French fries you ever put in your mouth. Motherfuckers will eat the evidence. And with my bag. That's genius. Fucking Sueño, man. This is gonna be huge. We're gonna be the new cartel kings.
The Santa Blanca cocaine production pipeline, led by El Yayo. It all starts in the fields with the harvesting of the Erythroxylum novogranitens, aka the coca plant. Of the 200 known species of Erythroxylum, only 2 contain usable levels of cocaine, so you have to know what you're planting. El Yayo knows what he's planting. First, his people strip the leaves off the plant. Then the leaves are dried, finally chopped, and sent to the lab. That's where this chick comes in. The Gringa here is an American chemist with Mensa-level IQ and sub-zero morality numbers. They take the chopped leaves, dust them with lime. That's right, lime. Then pour diesel fuel all over them. Stir for 3 days. You can use a washing machine or a cement mixer, but Santa Blanca does it by hand. Then, they mix all this shit with sulfuric acid, a dash of caustic soda, and bam, cocaine paste. You dry it, chuck in more acid, and pretty soon you got powder. But now you have to purify it because no one wants to snort yellow powder. It's gross. So, a little more acid, some potassium permanganate, pyrolusite, hungry yet? Filter it with ammonia, and beautiful, pure white cocaine. But everyone knows how to do this, right? What makes Santa Blanca so special? What makes SB a brand? Because they figured it out. How to mass produce a custom product. Plant genetics, logistics, mechanization, state-of-the-art labs, reduction of redundancies, quality control, purity of chemicals, and, of course, the secret sauce. They're geniuses. They've taken coke production into the 22nd century. What Henry Ford did for the factory, they've done for the lab. They're innovators, they're pioneers, they're SB.
The great writer Balzac once said, "To have a family is to become hostage to fortune." I told El Yayo we had something in common. We're both too old to start over. Me to start a new organization. You to start a new family. Innovation versus experience. Technology versus tradition. Youth versus age. La Gringa versus El Yayo. I had been hoping they would complement each other, but they could not get along. They were too different.
I have been producing cocaine this way for years.
That's exactly the problem.
Our product was so good, the demand was only increasing. We couldn't keep up. I don't care how you do it. Science, tradition, or voodoo. Just make more. Or I'll find someone that can. I had told El Yayo and La Gringa to step up production. They claimed they were doing their best. Obviously, I had not been clear enough. This man's life was in your hands, and this is what you've done with it.
I can't do this anymore. Please, just let me go home. I swear to God, I won't tell anyone what happened here.
Sometimes I don't think you take me seriously. Next time I will show you how serious I can be. Desperate people make desperate mistakes, and I had made El Yayo and La Gringa desperate. I pressured them too much. But I had no choice. The attacks on our production were increasing. It was hurting our supply chain. If something was not done, we would lose our market share. So I pushed them to produce more coke. They couldn't do it, so they started to cut it, dilute it, lower the quality to increase the quantity. An understandable mistake, but a mistake nevertheless. I had spent years branding Santa Blanca, a quality product, the best in the world, a primo price for a primo product. Problem was, the product wasn't primo anymore. And someone had to pay for that. El Yayo was born amidst the Bolivian coca. His mother carried him on her back until he was old enough to go to work for himself. For decades, Yayo picked the leaves, fingers blistered, back aching, feet bleeding. But never, in all that time, did he once extract the alkaloids to make cocaine. To Yayo, the coca leaf was an ancient tradition, going back 8,000 years, a medicine, a culture, una planta sagrada. Of course, the Americanos had a different opinion. They called it Plan Dignidad, the dignity plan. Although Yayo was no more than a farmer, un cocalero, his world was left in ruins. With no other means available, he was forced to do the one thing that he vowed never to do. He was forced to produce cocaine. In the end, the Americans' efforts to stop cocaine production created one of the greatest cocaine producers to ever live. You cannot feed the hungry without food. You cannot heal the sick without medicine. And you cannot satisfy demand without a product. With the cocaine production in shambles, our market share was shrinking more and more every day. We increased prices, but it was a temporary solution. We would have to import from Peru and Colombia, invest heavier in meth and MDMA, a very costly and time-consuming endeavor. It would take years to rebuild. I had no choice. If workers were left unpaid for too long, there was no telling what they would resort to. But the biggest loser in all this was the people of Bolivia. Out of work with no means to support their families. All they could do was wait. Wait and see who was next to take possession of the coca fields.
Katrine Svensson, La Gringa. How does a PhD from MIT end up as the chief chemist of the Santa Blanca cartel? Like all cynics, she started out as an idealist. La Gringa came to Bolivia to help the people. The poor, the downtrodden, the sick. She loved them, and they loved her. Working for an NGO called Hands Over Bolivia, she did research to develop a new vaccine for yellow fever. It was meant to be produced easier and cheaper, making it more readily available to more people in a shorter time. Then, disaster struck. She lost all her funding and was vilified by the scientific community. Of course, La Gringa hadn't been involved in the scandal, but it didn't matter. She lost everything. After that, well, you know what? Thanks to the NSA's prison program, we can hear it in her own words.
How much did you earn, Sonrisa?
40,000 a year.
I spend more on my dogs. I will pay you 100 times what you were making.
To do what?
Quality control. Working from Okoro, you can develop the best, most potent, most pure cocaine in the world.
I came here to help people survive.
La Gringa, my darling. How do you think the people survive?
This is El Way. Real name, Pedro Gil. And I know the first question you're asking. What the fuck happened to him? You know what pyrolusite is, right? Yeah, neither did I. Pyrolusite, key syllable pyro, by the way, is the shit they mine in Villa Verde province to turn coca leaves into high-quality cocaine. So what, you ask? Elway's father was a miner. His grandfather was a miner. His grandfather's father was a miner. Basically, Elway didn't have many options until El Boquita came along.
You want to make some real money?
Turns out he wanted to make some real money. Turns out, in fact, he was ambitious. Elway wanted to improve pyrolusite to produce the best cocaine the world has ever seen. Ever hear the expression, it blew up in his face? According to our sources, Elway is a generally affable guy. Good to his workers, cool with Unidad. Just don't ever make a joke about his face.
And in our top story tonight, bloody riots have broken out in the streets between local cocaleros and miners originally hailing from Barbechos. According to police reports, the miners, who are working in the private pyrolusite mine set up by Santa Blanca, are notorious locally for their heavy drinking and questionable social interactions with women. Tensions rose to a fevered pitch today when one of the miners threw a stick of dynamite into a local lake. When asked why he done such a thing, the man pointed to the pacu floating toward the shore, laughed and said, "Fishing." It was at this point that a group of local fishermen decided to complain directly to the man, using their fists to deliver their primary complaint.
I hate to bother you about this shit, Elway. I know you're busy as hell.
Oh, hey, Marcus, forget it, wey. It's nada. What do you need?
I need more of the precursor chemicals we're using to refine the cocaine. I thought my supplier with Via B gas was cool, but the past few weeks, the man is not playing me straight. Can you get your hands on some of this shit for me?
Claro, Marcus. I can help you out, but hey, you're gonna owe me.
You don't gotta tell me I owe you. Thanks, man.
Just let me know if you want me to visit your cabro on the Via B gas, or if this thing between you and me is gonna be a regular thing, okay? Oye, viejo. I got this problem I'm thinking maybe you can help me with.
Anyway, ¿cuál es problema? What's the problem?
These pinche cabrones in the mining collective, they're giving me headaches about pay rates and hours. I already got those mines safer than they ever been. You know these guys. I want you to, what you call it, mediate.
Bolivian miners are proud people. Is there perhaps some way to raise their pay? Just a few cents to satisfy their pride.
People think I'm the funny one around here, but that's only because they don't know you.
You must give them something. Your monopoly will be worthless if the miners don't dig.
Fuck makes you think we need Bolivian miners? It's a fucking global economy, pendejo. We can get some Brazilians up in these mines before anybody even realizes your mining collective is gone.
Tranquilo, Elway, tranquilo. I am friends with many of these men. I will talk to them. We will sort this out. I will make them understand that the agreement cannot change.
Y ahí les va pa' que se acuerden de mi compa el Boquita. ¡Salud, cabrones!
Marcus Jensen majored in chemistry because that's where the steady careers were. Job security, health benefits, 2 weeks vacation, 401k. And best of all, people were hiring. Marcus got recruited right out of grad school by La Gringa. Shelter guy that he was, thought he was getting a job with the SB Corporation, a multinational pharmaceutical company based in Bolivia, which, of course, it is. He just didn't realize what the product was. But when he finally figured it out, he decided it didn't really matter. He's making more in 1 month than his friends make in 5 years. And best of all, chicks. So many chicks. Almost as important, for the first time in his life, he's getting respect. La Gringa stationed Marcus at the Chemical Institute in Libertad Province. Over the past 3 years, he's been teaching cartel members how to produce high-quality cocaine. True, most of these idiots never made it past the 2nd grade, but it appears they finally found a subject they're passionate about. As for Marcus, his rationalization is...
Look, someone's gonna make the cocaine, someone's gonna make the money. It might as well be me, right?
You are right, Marcus, just not for much longer.
You gotta help me out, hombre. Sueño's getting impatient, but there's not enough time to cook the cocaine.
Hell you want me to do about it? It's your ass.
If I can make the quota, he sends me on a trip to that huevón el pozolero. Estoy muerto. I get thrown into human soup. Help me make the coke that I have into more coke.
You asking me to cheat El Sueño? 'Cause that's what it sounds like, man. I helped you cheat El Sueño, you and me both end up human soup. Fuck you for asking me.
I'm asking because this is all your goddamn fault.
Eat shit, this is not my fault.
I tell El Jefe that you and La Gringa didn't get the precursors to me in time to cook all this coke. He'll blame you sure as hell as he blames me. Then El Pozolero makes 2 pots of human soup.
You're a real asshole, man. I ought to have one of these sicarios break your kneecaps.
You know I'm right. And you know I'm more scared of El Sueño than I am of you. So help me out.
We've lost 2 convoys so far this month. How the fuck do you expect me to work without chemical precursors?
What do you expect me to do?
How about some extra fucking security on the trucks? Is that so much to ask?
The men don't like to be around the chemicals. Not since the accident last year. They still tell stories about what happened to the poor bastards caught in the spill.
Look, if the rebels keep hitting our convoys, my output is going to drop. If my output drops, La Gringa is sure as shit gonna want to know why. What do you want me to tell her?
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Marcus Jensen, PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology. First interview. Come in. Good morning. Dr. Katrine Svensson.
Marcus Jensen. Good to finally meet you.
Take a seat. How was your flight?
Bumpy. Especially the second leg. Didn't think they could fit so many people in such a small cabin.
Well, it's fine when it's just people. You've got a pretty impressive track record, Mr. Jensen.
Thank you.
Berkeley, Oxford, Caltech. So many honors on this resume, I feel like I'm reading a Latin dictionary. Guess that settles the issue of your, theoretical skills. Though, to be honest, a lot of what we do here appeals to a different set of skills.
Yeah, about that. The headhunter was pretty vague on this topic. What is it exactly that your company does?
We'll get to that. For now, there's one question I would like to ask you, Mr. Jensen. An important question.
Go ahead.
Are you willing to set aside some of your moral principles for the sake of a greater scientific purpose?
Come on, Jorge, be reasonable. My father's been doing business with you for the last, 15 years?
20 years. When your father, Señor Gallardo, first invested in the Via Vigas extraction.
20 years. And now I hear you can't make it to Agua Verde for a couple of days. What is this bullshit?
Oye, Carcita, everybody knows what goes on in Agua Verde. The cartel, the parties, the girls, the cocaine. You have to understand my position. I am the refinery chief here in Libertad. I have to keep up appearances.
Jorge, I had such high hopes for you. You were supposed to be the key speaker for our conference, Best Places to Work in Bolivia. I even had the presidential suite booked for you in Paraíso, Agua Verde. Of course, it would have come with all the perks included if you know what I mean.
Carcita, I don't know what to say. I don't think I can...
You know what? Why don't we ask El Sueño what he thinks? I'm sure he could give you plenty of convincing reasons why you should really come.
Espere, wait, ese cuate, Carcita. Let me check my agenda. I think I forgot to update some meeting that got cancelled. I might have time to visit after all.
Might?
I will have time. I will be there. You can count on me.
Excellent. See you there then, Jorge. And take care of yourself in the meantime, yes?
Ruperta Faro, Madre Coca. They used to grow coffee here in Tabacal, but the cartels made them switch to coca. A lot more profitable. If you ever tried to snort Italian roast, you'll know why. Spoiler alert, this is frowned upon at coffee shops. Don't ask. Madre Coca grew up as a raspacina, a coca picker. When it comes to illegal coca farms, there's no such thing as child labor laws. It was brutal, backbreaking work. She had a son whom she'd always dreamed would move on to better things. He didn't. Young Pablo died from a coke overdose. How does a mother who grows coca deal with growing the product that killed her own kid? Most people see the error of their ways and move on to something else. For Madre Coca, it was the exact opposite. She took out her anger on the people of Tabacal, forcing them to endure the same hardships she had experienced. And like any tyrant, she expanded her empire. This led to resentment from the people, which she dealt with. With the backing of El Yayo, she became a very powerful woman in the cartel. A new twist on an age-old lesson. You don't fuck with mama.
Pero Sueño, lo sabes tú. In the end, compa, only blood ties matter. It's only the blood. These people, they're not even Mexicanos.
Mudo, hermanito. You're missing the point here. You're being too sentimental. We're running a business. A fucking billion-dollar vertically integrated multinational organization. And for a business this scale to thrive, you need the best people running your operations. El Yayo and Madre Coca are the best at growing coca.
Papuchones, making them bosses? Sueño, this is crazy. We'll never be able to trust them.
Oh, yes, we will.
How?
We get them to sign the safest, most binding work contract ever invented.
What? What are you talking about? What contract?
Plata o plomo. Take the money or take the bullets.
I don't know. I don't like this, El Sueño.
Tranquilo, hermano. You need to widen your perspective. It's all business. Just business.
Madre Coca, can you turn down your television?
Ya es hora de mi novela. Most of these telenovelas are estúpido. Pero this one about the chocolate factory, this one I like.
Listo. Madre Coca, in Tabacal, the gossip is that the Cocalero Union is guaranteeing a better price than other crops. The coffee is nearly 20 bolivianos a kilo. My son tells me that Santa Blanca will never buy coca for over 17.
Viejo, I said the farmers will make more guita. You know as well as I that you can only harvest coffee once a year. As cocaleros, these people will harvest 3 times a year. That is 3 times the harvest for a plant that is easier to grow, for a crop that the farmer know will be sold.
Está bien. You are bending the truth, mamita. Pero you can depend on people to be lazy more than you can depend on them to be greedy. What if they don't buy the carrot?
Well, then, you know me. I have a pretty big stick.
You all know El Yayo, highest-ranking Bolivian in the Santa Blanca cartel, and their head of cocaine production. But you may not know his grandson, Gonzalo Llana, aka El Emissario, the Emissary. Yayo taught Emissario everything he knows. How to produce the best polvo in all of South America, how to maintain relationships with the local Bolivians, and most importantly, how to serve your Santa Blanca masters. Emissario looks up to Yayo, would do anything to honor him, to make him proud. Which is exactly what makes El Emissario the perfect target. His greatest fear is shaming his grandfather. If we hit his coke operation in Okoro, he'll come running back to fix things. That's when we grab him. With a little luck, he'll give us everything we need to know about dear old Grandpa.
Then you pour more ammonia. Mira, que es como la leche. When we drain out the gasoline, it will have such a beautiful color. Muy linda.
This is pretty easy.
See, when I was young, 12, 13, I had this friend. His father was a bandido. He showed me how to make homemade coca paste. But it was not like this so much. Sometimes you make your own paste, you lose money.
That's no good. How do you lose money?
It costs money for the chemicals to make the paste. It takes time. But here, we get a salary. And with La Gringa's process, you get much more paste than if I make it in an oil drum, like in the old days. I often wonder if people will still use El Polvo Blanco if they knew what we put in it.
Mi primo already breathes in gasoline to get high. He would not mind we put gasoline in cocaine.
Katrine, I come all the way out here to see you, and it's like talking to a wet sock. Honestly. And look at your hair. Is fighting the good fight taking its toll?
Don't they report on South America in Germany? Hands over Bolivia is gone. It was a CIA front. I was a damn puppet for those American spies. And when I found out, it was too late.
That's terrible. But why are you still here? Why don't you go home? Or come with me to Germany. Stay with me and Heinrich till you get something new.
I have something new. Here, in Bolivia. Look, sometimes I get to treat the sick, but it's mostly research. Biochemistry. And you won't like it.
There's only one employer out here that can afford you.
Yes, the Santa Blanca cartel. The Sicarios even have a nickname for me, La Gringa.
And biochemistry, as in cocaine. You can't, Katrine. You must leave.
I don't think they would let me leave anymore. There's no bars, but I'm in a prison.
Influence, the fine art of persuasion, the winning of hearts and minds, the grabbing of the short hairs and holding on. Santa Blanca, smart fucks that they are, figured it out. It's not enough to control the events. You have to control the story. El Cardinal, a true believer in Santa Muerte. If you're trying to influence people, it's an advantage to have God on your side. In this case, the skinny lady, the White Sister, the saint of holy death, Santa Muerte herself. Because, let's be honest, there's some things even God won't do for you. El Cardinal, he's on the radio, TV, live appearances, concerts. If El Sueño controls the population through bribery and fear, El Cardinal holds them with something much more powerful. Their souls. How would you like to avoid eternal damnation? Well, luckily, all you have to do is support the Santa Blanca cartel, and you will. On the other end of the public-private scale is Ramon Feliz, the narco-blogger. Don't let the quiet demeanor fool you. He's the SB's social media maven. He's their digital game. A tragic case, Feliz. He used to be a serious journalist, trying to expose the cartel for the psychotic, sociopathic dirtbags that they are. But they turned him. Now, he cranks out SB propaganda like his life depended on it. For his blog, for Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. If you're not into El Cardinal, you're into Feliz. They get you both ways. These two are the yin and yang of the Santa Blanca influence machine. The sacred and the profane, the public and the private, the heart and the mind.
All priests like to hear themselves talk, don't they? But as the saying goes, talk is cheap. El Cardinal knew this was true. His people were barely surviving, and he wanted to do something. He had to help those in need. He didn't care where the support came from. But there were others who thought he was making deals with the devil. He was cast out. He lost his family, his friends. Lo perdió todo. When I found him, he was a broken man. I brought him into Santa Blanca to preach the truth of the new faith.
For we are wed to death from the moment we are born, and we must come to love her more than we love our lives. Sacred and blessed death, the goddess of darkness can free you from sickness and evil. Do you offer your heart and soul over to her?
He baptized me in the true faith. He is my counselor, my conscience. I do. The only person I truly trust with my soul. A conscience is a dangerous thing, mostly to the person who has one. Ramon Feliz couldn't live with himself. He was moments from taking the coward's way out when... It seems that in spite of his recent allegiance to us, Feliz still had one source who was willing to bring him information. Un chivato. Information I was now aware of, since I had people monitoring his every keystroke. It's a shame, really. If Ramon had known what was on its way, he would have gone through with the suicide. The image was broken. The dream was crumbling. My church was dying out. Many of my men were leaving me. The campesinos were no longer afraid to slander my name. Those who hated me said I did all of this out of pride. The mausoleum, the websites, the Bible. They said I did it out of vanity. But if they could have seen it, if everyone could have seen my dream, they would have understood. I did it for them, for the sicarios, the farmers, the miners. I did it so they would dream of a better life for themselves, so they could envision how great they could become, how great they could make Santa Blanca, and how great Santa Blanca could make them. But when you get a glimpse behind the curtain, then you realize that the magic is nothing more than smoke and mirrors, and the glory which you once aspired to is nothing but a sham.
Shame. The whole world condemns you.
Someone had leaked Ramon's story. Even without proof, the damage was done. Help me, Padre.
You are beyond help. I can do nothing for you.
Listen to me, old man. Do you believe that I could hurt a child? That I would risk losing my life's work for a small amount of money? Do you truly believe that?
No, I don't.
Good. Then you will hold a mass. Invite the most powerful and influential people in Bolivia. Defend me against these lies. Swear on the Santísima Muerte that what they say is false.
You are not coming?
No. I have business to take care of. Forgive me, Padre, for I have sinned.
Speak the secrets of your soul, my son.
Padre, I have lost the love of the people. I thought it was enough that they feared me. I was wrong. Me equivoqué. To win, I needed their love.
Why don't they love you, hijo? Because you have not made them love you. You must hold charity events.
Gracias, patrón.
Mother's Day and the Day of the Children. You must provide hospitals, schools, everything the people need. Es tu gente. Because the Bible tells us,
by his works shall you know him. Ramon Feliz, blogger, academic, internet journalist. All he ever wanted was to tell the truth. But whose truth? His? Feliz thought that there is only one truth, but we know that truth, like history, is written by the winner. His blog slandered me day after day after day. Por supuesto, something had to be done. So I hired hackers to track him down and offered him a job. I explained that telling my truth was much more preferable. My truth kept him alive. All Ramon Feliz ever wanted was to tell the truth. Now he had more truth than he could bear.
Since his rise to power, El Sueño has been responsible for more than 7,000 murders, 12,000 kidnappings, and 17,000 disappearances. So then how the fuck is he one of the most loved people on the goddamn internet? I mean, this piece of shit has more likes than the World Cancer Society. How does that even happen? Well, one reason would be Ramon Feliz, Santa Blanca narco blogger. Feliz wasn't always like this. He used to be a real journalist. Working the crime beat for a Mexican newspaper, he wrote about the cartels. Until the cartel started targeting journalists. Forced to choose between reporting the news and their employees, the newspapers made a hard decision. They stopped reporting on the cartels. So Ramon Feliz went underground. With anonymity on his side, he started a blog, and he went after Santa Blanca. Hard, maybe too hard. Sueño hired hackers from a number of top universities and had them track down Feliz. Things only went downhill from there. Nowadays, Ramon Feliz no longer writes about Santa Blanca. Ramon Feliz writes for Santa Blanca. If you don't listen to Narco Corridos, you're a pussy and you're off my Christmas list. Narco Corrido is like gangster rap for the 21st century. The talk is tough, the music is banned, and the swagger is the show. This sexy motherfucker is El Cheeto, by far the #1 corrido performer in the world. His record sales rake in millions of dollars every year. Were he not so close to Santa Blanca, I'd be having his babies. As it stands, this suave slab of macho writes and sings the corridos that tell the tales of Santa Blanca's buchones from Bolivia to Culiacan. El Cheeto, real name Marcelo Rios, is not a bad guy. He just sings like one. He's also in tight with all the villains in Santa Blanca. The cartel's Church of Santa Muerte is sponsoring a kind of publicity tour and a concert in Malta. El Cheeto's supposed to boost morale and spread Santa Blanca's good word. This is an opportunity to nab an outsider with an inside track who's got everything to lose. We get El Cheeto to roll on his buddies. Prosecutors in nearly every country of the Western Hemisphere will sing our praises. Snatch and grab, but be gentle. And please, don't touch that handsome face.
My province are indifferent to the word of Santísima Muerte. They already have gods of their own. Bolivian gods, Pachamama, El Tío.
You are new to the priesthood, but surely as a layman you have witnessed the power of the bony lady.
Claro, pero how do I convince Bolivians to trust in her?
You don't try to convince others. We are not Mormons. We don't print little magazines like the Watchtower. You only need one person healed, one fortune made. As long as that success is thanks to Santa Muerte, the congregation will come to you. Our jobs as her priests is to ensure that people hear about these miracles, small as they may seem. Then the people will come to Santísima Muerte, and your congregation will grow.
Voy a cantar un corrido del que fue enviado a morir por su propia muerte. Boquita le desean por caminos de tierra.
Santa Muerte está de moda.
Who are you? Why the hell are you calling me?
People call me El Cardenal.
What kind of name is that? You sing like religious songs or some shit?
No, escúchame, El Cheeto. I am the religious advisor for El Sueño and the Santa Blanca cartel. For heaven's sake, I baptize you in the sacrament of Santa Blanca.
I kinda remember that.
Good. I am contacting you so that we can coordinate your message when you come to Bolivia.
Hey, wey. Respeto a la Santa Muerte and everything, but I don't got no message. I just want people to have fun. You know what I mean.
You are coming to Bolivia to raise the morale of the men in the ranks.
and part of that job includes spreading faith in Santa Muerte.
I ain't gonna give no speeches. But, I can change the playlist a little bit. Play mostly corridos that mention Santa Muerte.
That is all I ask.
Javier Coronel Bayardo, which is a mouthful, so let's call him what his rich friends do. Carcita. He's a meppy, a Mexican preppy, or a prepsican if you prefer. His main achievement in life was to win the sperm lottery. Gonzalo Coronel Bayardo, telecom billionaire, is his daddy. Gave Sonny everything. Money, cars, education, BA from Harvard, MBA Wharton Business, DPhil from Oxford to acquire a little sophistication and some good English clothes. Now he gets his own resort to run. This used to be a national park, but Santa Blanca turned it into an exclusive resort. It's here that Carcita does what Carcita does best, making connections between Santa Blanca and anyone that's anyone. CEOs, politicians, judges, socialites, even celebrities. You know who that is, right? Hint. She just went to rehab for saying something racist. What Carcita offers the cartel is more than just business deals. It's a level of corruption we've never seen before. And it's on you to stop it. We cut the connections, we stop the corruption.
Jefe?
You are hosting some political contacts at the casino next month. I want an event, Carcita. Politicians are natural beggars of glamour. The casino must be gilded with celebrity. Who can you bring in?
I have a few ideas. There is, Marco Cruz.
That gordo actor? He wants to be a politician himself. You are thinking that you will buy celebrities, but you must attract them.
Sí, of course. Bebé Herrera. She's a Colombiana telenovela star.
Star of El Rostro de la Patinadora. I am familiar with this novela. Ella es muy bonita. You know her?
She's a poker player. If we host a small tournament, perhaps she can bring a few of her actor and musician friends.
Bueno, make it happen. She and her friends do not need to personally entertain any of my contacts. Comprende?
Sí, absolutely, jefe.
Pero Carcita, Agua Verde is a national park, one of Bolivia's natural treasures. To put a resort on it,
Minister, the rest of the world should share in this treasure. Turning Agua Verde into a resort will bring tourists who will bring cash into the country. The casino alone will...
The casino? Even if I approve the resort without the approval of the Aymara chiefs, the Gambling Control Authority will never go for a casino with such questionable financing.
They've already promised approval.
¿Qué? I don't believe it. How is such a thing possible?
Well, the president of the Gambling Control Authority understands that a lot of money goes through a casino. If some of that money happens to get lost, he wants to make sure that it falls into the right hands. Don't you, senor?
Ah, okay, of course. How much money are we talking about?
Well, I'd say $50,000 US a month to start.
That sounds reasonable, Carcita. Have your lawyer send me the construction permits. I will handle everything.
Perfecto. You and your family have a good evening.
Y pónganle atención, compita. No le anden jugando al tonto.
In local news, a construction vehicle has run over Aymara protesters in Agua Verde, resulting in 25 dead and dozens more injured. Since April, the Aymara have been staging marches of resistance, blocking roads in an attempt to prevent construction crews from driving to the construction site of Paraíso Agua Verde, resort and casino. Early this morning, an earth-moving dump truck broke through the protesters, resulting in the deaths. The approved site sits on what has long been considered sacred land. Environmental groups have also expressed concern that pollution from the resort will damage the ecosystem of the lake. No charges have been filed for the deaths, and there is no word yet from Aymara representatives if the protests will continue. Military police from Unidad have moved into the area to ensure order. In international news, Queen Brita of Sweden has given birth to a baby girl.
DJ Perico, the parrot. His dream in life was to be a mixtape DJ, which essentially means yelling over someone else's song and then charging people for it.
DJ Perico!
Fortunately for the music industry, life got in the way. Corner boy at age 13, crack charge at 14, attempted murder at 15. Rather than do a bid in a gladiator academy, he fled to Mexico. He had a cousin in Santa Blanca, got a job as a sicario, a hitman. However, if Santa Blanca had run his sheet, they'd have seen he'd only attempted murder. Another way of saying he was a fuck-up. Like he missed 2 guys in the front seat of a Wrangler. I mean, how hard is that? It was only a matter of time before he annoyed the shit out of every single member of the cartel and got his corpse thrown back across the border, except El Sueño took a liking to him. Perico amused him. He can't shoot a gun, but he can shoot his mouth off. So...
Good morning, Bolivia!
El Sueño found a role for him. Pirate radio. Propaganda. Spread the good word about the coming of Santa Blanca.
It's a beautiful day for cocaine. But hey, what day isn't? A special shout out to my boys in Boquita province, building El Sueño's final finca. But let's not be in too big a hurry, okay, boys?
DJ Perico is El Sueño's pet. Let's give him something new to parrot.
Ahí le va su corrido, jefe. Con mucho respeto, viejón. Brinda su corazón a la Santa Muerte. Su mensaje es divino. No vivirán por mucho tiempo, cabrones. Los que se crucen en su camino. A huevo, cabrón. De muchas vidas es el dueño. El evangelio del sueño. Con honor representa la Santa Blanca. De todo el mundo el cartel más grande.
In the old days, the miners made sure to leave offerings to El Tío down in the tunnels. Little things, some tobacco or a handful of coca leaves. Sometimes, if the men knew they would be working a shaft that had an evil reputation, they would pour out cups of Singani over the stones, so El Tío would leave them be. The year I turned 25, I was working in a mine near Huayna. It was old and deep. The timbers were rotted and its veins were nearly dry. Times were hard. There was so little coming out of the mine that people barely had enough to eat, much less feed El Tío. We had been working in the deepest parts of the mine for many weeks, and the tunnels had begun to shift and ground. I knew that El Tío was hungry, and that something bad was going to happen. So my brother and I went into the hills one night and killed a llama. That morning, before I went down into the mine, I painted its blood on the entrance as an offering to El Tío. The cave-in happened later that day. 1 minute I was working, the next, I was alone in the darkness. I could hear my friends moaning and crying out in pain, cut off by tons of earth and rock. One by one, my friends fell silent. I sat in the dark and listened to them die. And then it was my turn. A smell came into the air. It was foul, like burnt hair and brimstone. And then, El Tío was there. I couldn't see him, but I could feel him there in that tiny space, right in front of me. I was shaking like a leaf. I held up my hand. To this day, I don't know why, and I heard a sound, a soft, snuffling sound like an animal will make. I could feel hot breath on my palm as the devil bent close to me and smelled the llama blood staining my hand. The next thing I knew, I was in the hospital at La Paz. They told me I had been down in the mine for 15 days. No one could understand why I was still alive. But I knew. That is why I believe in El Tío de la Mina, and why I'll never go down into his realm ever again.
De verdad, Perico. He loves you more than his puppy. He's even talking about joining Santa Blanca. He's only 10 years old, but he's big already, like his father was.
Gracias, mamacita. It fills me with joy. Let me see if I can talk to El Sueño about it. He always has use for young soldiers, especially those with room inside their stomach. Vale, vatos, that's it for today. Perico up the air. Tune in later for more of your favorite DJ this side of the Altiplano. Damn right I'll talk to Sueño. Like that cabrón listens to me anymore. Pinche puta. I'm baller status, way. Yeah, I should be snorting Yayo on some thick double D's in the back of a limo in fucking Hollywood right now. Not hacking for a bunch of whiny-ass chochas who think they're hardcore because they got SP tattoos on their neck. Fucking disrespecting me? Wasting my talent? You know, fuck them! Fuck El Sueño! Fuck El Muro! Fuck La Plaga! Fuck! Perico, Sueño on the phone for you. Yeah, I'll be there in a second.
In local news, Tinku fighter Raul Vargas is moving to the United States of America to start a new career as a mixed martial artist in the new Global Fighting League. Vargas, the undefeated Tinku champion of Charamoco, is well known in Pucara as El Jaguar del Rey. He earned a name during his first Tinku battle by strapping shards of broken glass to his fists. These jaguar claws frightened so many opponents that Vargas won many of his first battles after landing only one or two powerful blows. Now Vargas, who boasts more than 200 victories as a Tinku fighter, will match his strength and skill against the best fighters in the world of mixed martial arts. No word on whether or not he'll be allowed to use his trademark claws in the arena.
¿Qué pasa, banda? Aquí DJ Perico with great news. Today, we have a very, very special guest in the studio. You're not gonna believe this. El Sueño himself.
¿Qué tal, Perico? Glad to be here today.
Buen día, El Sueño. Welcome to my show. It's truly an honor. So, I heard you're building something down here in Pucara.
Indeed, I am.
Yeah, I have a friend in Todos Santos, works at a train station there. He's ugly as fuck, so he never gets any girl, but the other day he met this chick who showed him some blueprints. Says it's huge, like a temple or something.
A mausoleum.
A what? I'm not exactly up to date on my French here, so can you explain what this means?
Mausoleum. It's a Greek word. Describes a magnificent stone building where kings and emperors are buried.
A tomb?
It's much more than that. It's a token of our accomplishments here in Bolivia. A shrine which will remind everyone that a great man, with the help of a great people, can achieve anything, can make history. Just like Santa Blanca is doing here in Bolivia. Esto es para el pueblo.
La Santera, the Saint Maker. Es una chica loca. This chick is batshit crazy. She used to be a good girl, devout Catholic, until she found Santa Muerte, the skinny lady. and went all in. If El Cardenal is the light, charitable side of Santa Muerte, La Santera is the dark hedonism. The cartel's twisted, fucked up version of the saint. El Sueño knows a chart topper when he sees one, so he put her on his label. Preach, mommy. What's good for Santa Muerte is good for Santa Blanca. He even built her a sanctuary deep in the heart of Espiritu Santo. La Santera's role in the cartel? Ensure loyalty. The more cartel members prove themselves, the more access they get to Santa Muerte. You want Santa Muerte to protect you from bullets? Smuggle 200 kilos. You want to be blessed with eternal wealth? Recruit 5 of your cousins to Santa Blanca. You want to go to heaven? Kill 10 of her enemies. It's like a ranking system for scumbags. The more you do for your cartel, the more the Saint of Holy Death will do for you. A true reward for true believers. And trust me on this. La Santera is a true believer.
May Holy Santa Muerte bless us. Brothers and sisters, we are all gathered here because of gratitude, thankfulness. Those of us assembled here are thankful for the good deeds that La Santa Muerte has bestowed upon us. That woman there, La Dama Poderosa, saved her husband from illness. That man, he was spared by La DEA because of the skinny lady's intercession. Him there, he passed through gunfire unscathed because of his faith in La Santa Muerte. And faith, brothers and sisters, faith is all that she asks of you. But faith not shown is only an indulgent desire. If you pray to Santa Muerte without giving her an offering, you are expressing a selfish whim, simply indulging in greed. And as Santo Tomás de Aquino wrote, greed is a mortal sin because greed leads you to sacrifice the eternal for the sake of something temporary. This week, as we pass the collection plate, I want each of you to think about how you display your faith in La Santa Muerte. I want you to let go of your greed. I want you to give your offerings in gratitude. Amen.
And you've been on the Santa Muerte pilgrimage through Espiritu Santo for how long now? 7 days out of 10, Perico, the trip would blow your mind. So many gold statues weigh. Now how did a sicario like you get time away from pulling the trigger away? Well, La Santera gives us time to take the pilgrimage. And, you know, I told her my mama was sick, and she told me what kind of offerings to make along the way. Sorry about your mom's way. What's wrong with her? She has the clench. It's like really bad. Most of the offerings are tobacco and coca leaves. Sometimes a little shot of gin or something. But at one statue near the sanctuary, La Santera said to leave a dead bat. Far out, way. Animal sacrifice is a little creepy for me, but whatever you think is cool.
Santera! Ven aquí, Santera!
Cardenal?
What do I hear about these Santeria rituals? About human sacrifice? Santera, you are going too far.
Faith does not work by half measures, Padre. If you truly venerate Santa Muerte, you will join us.
This is not how one venerates Santa Muerte. You will stop these rituals.
Or what? No one misses these people, Padre. No one missed them before, no one misses them now. I have given these people a purpose and meaning. What better way to honor Santa Muerte?
Well, Happy New Year, Karen. I'm guessing you had a Bolivian Christmas too? You know, Sueño doesn't really get into the holiday spirit the way most people do. Another day, I was driving him around Pucara, and he had me stop on this hill out of the middle of butt-fuck nowhere. And he shows me these blueprints for his own mausoleum. I don't know, I guess he's planning his fucking legacy or something. But anyway, the mausoleum, it's fucking epic. And I'm like, Efe, that tomb is fit for a goddamn king. And Sueño turns that gigantic fucking head to me and says, completely straight-faced, cold as stone, Ricky, that's a tomb for a god. Can you believe the megalomania on this guy? He just wears it around like a hat. Like it's no big deal that he thinks he's a fucking divine being walking among the goddamn mortals. I don't know, kid. My mother always told me I should be more confident. Maybe I should take a page from the big dog's book. Grow an ego the size of Russia. I bet you'd like that. I'll roll up into an RP. I don't know, have you rearrange the furniture to fit my divine design. But the mausoleum is gonna be a big construction project, and fucking artisans and craftsmen and, you know, guys who know stuff are making all this expensive replica shit. Or maybe he's gonna start importing art. Anyway, stick a pin in it. I'm just saying, this big project in Pucara is something you want to have on your radar. Karen, I went on a pickup to Barvechos and finally met the notorious Nidia Flores. Jesus Christ, she is as sexy a woman as ever walked God's earth. She reminded me of my brother's old girlfriend, Marisol, who was like, when I was 16, she was, oh man, she was even hotter than any girl I could think up in my teenage hormonal brain. And it's funny though, because to Sueño, this guy, he talks about Nidia like she's some saint in his whole unholy pantheon, right? But Nidia, I don't know if it's because she's afraid or because she really wants to please El Jefe. She's like so afraid of screwing up, she double checks fucking everything. I was just there to pick up some cash, like, you know, payroll for the Sicarios. And Nidia, she ran those bills through the counting machines fucking 5 goddamn times. Some of the Sicarios I rode back with, they were gossiping about El Boquita being the father of Nidia's kid, Valeria, which I didn't know. Did you know? I'm not going to tell you all the crude jokes these guys were saying. These cartel gunslingers, they are not gentlemen, know what I mean? Real animals. But Nidia, whew, she must have been the drunkest girl on spring break to let fucking Boquita be her baby daddy. I don't really see that happening any other way. Karen, I saw your old pal, La Gringa. I guess you know her as Dr. Svensson. She has come a long way since your NGO went belly up. Now, CIA fronts used to be sexy. During the Cold War, the State Department used to send ballet companies into places like Italy and Japan. Places that weren't exactly enemies, but weren't quite allies. Ballet, man, like with ballerinas and those pointy shoes and everything. And if you'd done ballet instead of bringing biochemistry science types to Bolivia, well, we wouldn't be dealing with all these advances in cocaine technology. La Gringa told El Sueño she'd have a new state-of-the-art coke lab up and running, but I'm thinking she's promised El Jefe more than she can handle. She's about 2 weeks behind schedule, and she is looking stressed out. You know, her hair's all in knots, not bathing and stuff. I mean, she is scared shitless of El Sueño, so my money's on her having something to give him on her deadline. But I also know that you don't have real warm feelings for this chick, so if you want me to make sure she misses that deadline, I am capable of a little bit of sabotage. I'll talk later. And make sure those kids in the activity have their March Madness brackets finished. None of these cartel guys watch college basketball, so I'm gambling with you guys.
You're going to die, Ricky.
Even if Yuri and Bolito stop, if they stop giving you pain right at this moment, you'd still die.
Yeah, I figured as much.
We already know the truth, but I want to know why. Tell me, Ricky. Then I promise I will make the pain go away.
All right, Hefe. It's a little too late for my confession to do you any good, so I chalk this up to professional courtesy. It was me. I blew up the embassy in La Paz.
You blew up the U.S. Embassy in La Paz?
Yeah. And it wasn't some DEA or CIA false flag bullshit. The rebels helped with the op, but it was me.
Why bomb your own embassy?
I had no choice. My bosses were gonna pull me out of Bolivia. No one gave a shit about what you were doing down here. No one wanted to commit any resources to stopping you assholes. I needed them to pay attention. And for that, I needed theater. And people don't pay attention at the theater unless somebody dies.
Karen, we have got some fucked up friends. I just expected Pacatari to give me some chicken feet to give to El Sueño and El Moro. But that bastard discarded Amaru, the damn founder of their fucking rebellion. You know, I gotta say, it's a smart play. With Amaru gone, Pacatari has no rival for the leadership of the rebellion. Authority of their group was always split between the two of them, but now there's nobody left to disagree with Pac. Giving Amaru to the cartel, the old man dies a martyr, and Pacatari keeps his hands clean of any of the bloodstains. But yes, that bastard Pacatari is using me, but hey, Amaru was always the one who didn't want to work with us Yankees. Should be a hell of a lot easier getting the rebels to cooperate now.
Just checking in, Karen. At an outpost in Benegas, we played host to a squad of Unidad troops who just tussled with some rebels. The rebels have been smart, picking off a couple of troops, making the soldiers chase them a little ways, then picking off a couple more. 2 or 3 rifles can do a lot of damage that way, especially in terrain as rough as this. Those hombres who don't get shot get beat up by the landscape. And you know, Unidad might be looking rough right now, but I don't see these rebels reaching any kind of victory without a little bit of conventional warfare. Yeah, it'd be nice if the U.S. could step in and lend a hand, but these days it takes a lot for America to put boots on the ground. It'll take theater. Something really dramatic with an all-star cast. If something like that happened, something that could get the attention of the news crews, then you might see some American troops in Bolivia. Hey, kid. Intense day at the office. You know, the funny thing about Sueño, you always know where you stand with the son of a bitch. It's like hanging out with the biggest pit bull on earth. You look at him cockeyed, and he might tear your throat out, sure, but sure as shit won't hide his feelings. You know, this morning, I ran security when he was renegotiating production rates with that fucking wombat, El Emissario. So Emissario keeps making excuses about production volume and labor and whatever. Well, Sueño just sat and stared all dead-eyed at this asshole. I swear to God, his fucking eyes were burning holes through the guy's shirt. And then, get this, Sueño pulls the biggest fucking Bowie knife out of his jacket. It was like a sword out of a goddamn Japanese cartoon. And he lays this hunk of pointy metal on the desk real gentle-like. Well, at that point, Emissario would have agreed to anything. Fuck, well, he did agree to everything. And Sueño just picked up his knife, got up and left. Not saying a single fucking word. Now, he ain't the friend you introduced to your parents, but you gotta admire the guy. I mean, he must have balls the size of coconuts. Karen, put on your happy face. I'm getting word about some Argentine politicians who are gonna come visit the resort in Agua Verde. Your whole theory about corruption in Argentina has some legs. I don't think anything about the get-together is set in stone, but I'll probably get involved in the shindig at some point. Like usual, Carzita's doing all the work for now.
That kid hasn't learned to keep his mouth shut, so I'm sure in a couple of days I'll be able to tell you which politicians are on the guest list. In the meantime, can you look into these rumors I'm hearing that the rebels in Bolivia might start working with the rebels in Peru? That's not the kind of shit I like to hear, man. We already know that the Peruvian rebels are trying to control the cocaine in their country. I mean, they advertise that shit. They post videos online about that shit. Are we trying to get rid of Santa Blanca just so Pat Katari and his guys can take over?
I mean, I know it's a possibility. I'm not a total idiot. But Pat Katari needs to find other allies, man. Hey, Karen. So you know I spent every afternoon of the last week in these bottom-barrel strip clubs kissing up to El Boquita. Hey, some advice? When a strip club offers you a free steak lunch, don't order the food. I don't know. Maybe Boquita was just testing how strong my stomach is, but somewhere between the dog meat steaks and the senior citizens gyrating on stage, my bona fides checked out. That's right, kid. I got access to El Sueño. Me and Boquita met him at the busiest coca market you ever saw. And man, when the hell did God start making Mexicans this fucking big, I swear? The guy walks sideways through garage doors. Now listen, I've only met him the once, but I think El Sueño likes me. I went with that cover legend thing. You know, the one where I'm a contractor hired to guard oil pipelines and, try to make some more cheddar and shit. And he liked that I could talk about Santa Muerte, too. And guess what? On the spot, the big dog asked me to be a Santa Blanca lieutenant. And get this, he doubled the pay I was asking for. So congratulations. We got our foot in the door. Karen, I got no word on Antonio's stash house or any of his transit points. And I would appreciate it if you would stop asking me to go over to Mojocoyo. Whenever I see that bastard, he makes me do a line with him, and by a line, I mean a pile of coke the size of a fucking French baguette. I'm too lightweight for that shit. I keep this up, I'll be as paranoid and as sweaty as that motherfucker. Antonio hits his wife in front of other people. The guy's basically out of control, but the blow has got him so goddamn paranoid, I don't think we'll ever find his stash house. At least not this way. If they stop cutting our fucking budget and we could get the manpower, then I would say put surveillance on this guy. Electronics, satellite, the whole nine. Antonio is a hard target. Going at him all casual like he's just gonna open up and share his secrets with me? That's a fucking dead end. Hey, Karen. You tried these Bolivian buñuelos yet? They're not round like buñuelos mexicanos. Here, they poke these little holes in the middle of the dough. I guess so they cook faster. I mean, I like them, but Boquita is fucking addicted to these things. There's this little bakery in Huertas that I swear to God, Boquita keeps this bakery in business on what he eats alone. You'll think I'm crazy, but I really like this fat bastard. I mean, he really is a goddamn genius at smuggling. Anyway, give the border control agents a heads up. Boquita's getting a whole new fleet of stash cars from Huertas. He's like updating, upgrading. Unless they get a scanner, I don't know if there's any way the border control can find the coke without tearing apart every car that comes to the crossing. I'll see if I can ID any of the drivers for you, but chances are slim. Hey, kid.
I got a lead on that air smuggling operation Boyer Boston Reed is running. Me and La Plaga met up with him at one of those cartel cat houses in Kawani. God, that boy had 3 chicas in there with him. You believe that? I mean, what do you do with 3 chicas? I can figure out what you do with 2, but what do you do with the third one? You think they take breaks? Like, one sits in the dugout while the other 2 play? Anyway, Boston was drunk as a skunk, and it was pretty easy to get him talking. Just like you figured, he's setting up temporary airstrips out in the salt flats. He kind of joked around about these guys he has working for him, guys that know the locations of all these airstrips and the times that they get set up. Boston kept talking about some dudes named the Guerrero brothers. Wouldn't really go into them, though. I'll drop you a line when I find out more.
Your father is well?
Sí, gracias. I wanted to ask about Sandoval.
I deal with him occasionally.
I've heard that lately he's been acting strangely, drinking more short-tempered.
You know as well as I that working with El Sueño can be stressful.
Sandoval is becoming dangerous, violent. I thought that with your resources...
Gonzalo, it is not my place to be involved this way. If Sandoval becomes a problem, El Sueño will take care of it himself.
Hey, Karen. We've been moving a lot of blow out of Bolivia lately. I mean, the cartel sent about 5 tons to Sao Paulo last Tuesday. You know my share? Something like $2 million. I'm getting really fucking rich here. And with our chain of command giving fuck all about my welfare, I have to keep reminding myself why the hell I'm doing this. When I was 16, my brother Pete OD'd on H. Choked to death on his own vomit. It's hard to explain the feeling to a person who doesn't have a big brother. It's like the ground beneath your feet just disappears. You keep falling and falling. I don't like the idea of that shit happening to someone else's kid brother, you know? Talk about motivation, huh? Like a wish on a star for all the good I'm doing. Or harm, really. I mean, myself, Special fucking Agent Sandoval, I am personally responsible for putting tons and tons of cocaine on the street. And nobody bats an eyelash. It's crazy, huh? I mean, imagine if a counterterrorism agent set off a bomb on American soil. Would anyone give a shit then? What keeps you going, Karen? You're not one of those pantsuit career types, so if you believe in fighting the good fight, you better find yourself some real motivation sometime soon. You gotta have some real fuel for this game. Hey, Karen. I know my station chief in Buenos Aires got the launch dates for those drug subs. You want to hear the stunning results of all our intelligence work? Squat. Nada. Nothing. My cartel contact in Florida tells me that the submersibles arrived with no problems except for a couple of dehydrated crewmen. Either that fat fuck the station chief sat on the info or the goddamn Brazilians let the boats through. You know, would it hurt for somebody in our government to remember that loyalty is a two-way street? I mean, fuck am I taking these risks for? And to top it off, I helped smuggle 200 fucking kilos of cocaine into the US of A, and I got paid very well for it. I mean, shit. Am I corrupt? Or am I just doing my fucking job?
The end-user certificate will be good. The officials are in Sueño's pocket. My pocket.
Are you shitting me? You want me to put German rifles in the hands of Santa Blanca?
No, kid. I want you to put German rifles into my hands, so I can get some credit with Sueño.
And what? We track the serial numbers? Why would I do that gun-walking shit the ATF does? Giving the cartel guns does nothing for my problems.
But we're not giving guns to the cartel. I'll deliver the shipment to a depot that the rebels know, someplace weak that they can hit. Then the guns that Santa Blanca pays for become the rebels' guns.
Now that's a plan I can get behind. I've got 100 rifles in the warehouse of a shell company in Greece. I'll ship them legit to El Alto, but you'll have to figure out how to get the Connex south.
Hey, Karen. Just checking in. Not much new to tell this week, but that Santa Muerte priest guy, El Cardinal, oh, he's been real agitated lately. Smoking like a chimney, you know what I mean? I don't think he likes that La Santera lady very much. It's more than off his politics. I mean, I do think she's trying to edge her way into his territory a little bit. Like, maybe she's writing more of that Santa Blanca Bible than El Cardinal wants, but honestly, I get the feeling that this guy is really creeped out by La Santera. I don't have to tell you. In this crowd, well, in this crowd, if you're creeping people out, then there has got to be something really wrong with you. I can look into it if you think I should, but I think it's more to do with the religion stuff, less to do with the drugs. What's up, Karen? Thanks for that intel on the rival cartel. That bit of misinformation, all that cloak and daggery stuff, it helped out with that Sicario El Jefe made me interrogate. And I'd like to say that my afternoon with Yuri and Polito was the first time I'd ever enjoyed hurting a prisoner, but well, that'd be a lie. And I won't pretend I feel guilty about it, but it's not something I advertise. And I feel like we can be the bad guy just as much as we can be the good guy. You know what I mean? Like these two lovebirds, for all that bad shit they're capable of, they are just as capable of doing good shit. And they've got this reputation as total psychos, which, you know, they probably are, but most of their interrogation methods are textbook, straight out of the manual from the School of the Americas. And the rest of it, all that kinky shit Polito says he got out of some sexy French novel called Story of the Eye. Look, I'm not defending them, I'm not. I'm just saying that they're not creative. And if they're not thinking up wacky pit and pendulum type stuff, and if they are able to be as in love as they are, well, they can't be like pure evil. Yuri and Polito just admit out loud in polite company that they enjoy hurting other people, which just makes them weird and psycho, but not evil, right? Hey, kid. Yesterday was the first time I saw El Way since he burned his fucking face off. You can put to bed any doubts you had that he'd be going back to work. The man is a machine. His face is all wrapped up in gauze like the goddamn mummy, and he's still giving me a 5-cent tour of the mines. You know, I like this guy. If he wasn't a criminal, he'd be a fucking TV movie of the week. His face burnt off, and just a couple of weeks later, he overcomes diversity to run a pyrolusite mine. We gotta keep an eye out, though. Always gunning for revenge on this Unidad officer he blames for blowing his face up. You know, at the mine, after getting a whole lot of sideways glances, I realized that all these miners knew who the hell I was. I've been around so long that all these Bolivians think of me as a cartel buchan. And, well, you know me. I try to be a nice guy, a friendly guy. These miners, they were acting like I was walking around with a gun pointed at their heads. It's kind of weird when everybody you look at is scared shitless. Makes it harder to remember that I'm secretly the good guy.
The Santa Blanca Security Forces. Run by El Muro, childhood friend and personal bodyguard to El Sueño. El Muro means the wall, as in no one gets over it, no one gets under it, no one gets around it. SBC security forces recruit hard and train harder. Instructors from Israel, South Africa, Russia, and unfortunately, even the good old US of A. Polygraphs, first of every month. Pass, you pick up your paycheck. Fail? Yeah, don't fail. Even so, El Muro has a polygraph system of his own. These sicarios, aka gunmen, get intense training in marksmanship, surveillance, driving. 2/3 wash out to become halcones. The guys who make it get assigned to various regions as enforcers, guards for labs and shipments, hitmen. Some become drivers, surveillance specialists, spies, and torturers. Just below El Muro is Santa Blanca's head sicario, La Plaga, the Plague. You may ask, how does a show-off party boy rise to be the second in command of Santa Blanca security? Answer, sperm. La Plaga is El Muro's little brother, but don't kid yourselves. He's the nastiest motherfucker on the internet, and yes, I have been on 4chan. Don't worry, you'll see what I'm talking about.
El Muro was outmanned and outgunned, and he knew it. What do you do when you don't have an army and you need one? You buy one. Every officer, like every prostitute, has a price.
Quiebren al Sueño.
It was the right move. I would have done the same thing. But El Muro forgot. Fear is always worth more than money. Our security infrastructure was being attacked. It made me question if La Plaga, our head sicario, was up to the task, or if he was too distracted with social media antics. Are you too busy chasing pussy on the internet to do your fucking job? Or is fucking your job?
No, Jefe. He's my brother, Sueño. I will keep him in line.
La Plaga got the message too well. He doubled down.
Whoever's behind this, know that we will find you. Know that for every one of us you kill, we will kill 10 civilians at random. There is no such thing as innocent to me.
The little pendejo had no idea how much damage he had just caused. La Plaga's response to the attacks proved he did not understand that the most basic function of a drug trafficking organization is to make money.
What does your father do?
He's a halcón.
A lookout?
Sí.
He hasn't been doing his job, has he?
I don't know.
Killing innocent people does not help you. Just the opposite. It alienates the people you need most. It sends them into the arms of your enemies. Who is really your brother? Tu carnal? The man you grew up with? Fought with? Bled with? Grew rich with? Or some guy whose mother got fucked by your father? La Plaga has gone too far. You know what you must do. I thought it was only fair to let El Muro take care of his little brother. He would do it quickly, mercifully. Nothing like what I saw in the videos. I am not my brother's keeper. That's the Bible. That's God.
Run.
El Muro chose to go against the word of God. El Muro was going to try to kill me, just as I was going to kill him. Black is for vengeance. White is for safety. Gold is for success. Ahora, I ask you, how can any saint grant contradictory prayers from two different men? It has been my experience that gods always side with the man who has the most money, the most men, and the most power. I had lost the one man I could always trust, mi hermano. How many men would be more loyal to him than to me? How much power would he take? Would that be enough for him to take me out? I would always have an advantage, though. I grew up with the man. I knew how his mind worked. I knew his next move before he did. I just had to be patient. Francisco Ricardo Munguia. El Muro. The wall. The wall between me and my enemies. The wall between me and death. We were born hours apart in the same village. As boys, we were as poor as the rats that scrambled across our dirt floor. Our huts in the shadows of the hilltop mansions, where the narco bosses lived like conquerors. El Muro took a different path. He joined the army. Special forces. He rose through the ranks, helped to protect the local narcos, was paid in cocaine and money along with promotions. When we met again, Francisco hermano, why are you still in the army? You and me together, we could rule. We will protect each other, as we did when we were boys. We will share, like brothers. My security forces were shattered. I was a king without an army. My generals were dead or captured. I had no defenses, no armor. What use was a gun without a loyal hand to hold it? I had lost the only man I ever considered a friend. And when I asked my partners in Mexico for more sicarios, they refused. I would try to recruit from the gangs in El Salvador and Honduras. One man's war zone is another man's talent pool. But it would take time to train them, to cultivate them. Time I would spend with a target on my back, waiting for someone else to come for the crown.
Ignacio Perez Cervantes, also known as La Plaga, the Plague. Head of security for Santa Blanca, and the little brother of El Muro. El Muro had him trained well. Paid off guys in Russia's Bodark Special Forces group to teach him combat tactics. Sent him to learn killing techniques from death squads in El Salvador and Honduras. Apparently, he was a good student. His favorite subject? Cutting off a person's face, then showing it to them. Back in the day, it used to be that the criminals hid, and the good guys tried to find them. But La Plaga, he does everything he possibly can to be seen. The guy is a social media machine. He pays narco corrido bands to write songs about him. He has his own personal camera crew. This fuck even has his own YouTube channel. La Plaga is a walking recruitment message. Young people see what he has and want it. The guys want to join him. The girls want to get wifed up. It'd almost be funny to see a guy who spends 3 hours a day sending dick pics. Except half of what he posts aren't messages to his followers, but messages to his enemies. There's only one way to stop the plague from spreading. You cut it off from society, then watch it die out. When I was a kid, we used to live over the train tracks. Every time a train went past, I would run into my mother's bed, and she'd assure me there was no such thing as monsters. She was such a liar. El Pozolero, also known as the Stew Maker. Sometimes the cartel needs a dead body to completely disappear without a trace. In such cases, they ship the cadavers off to San Mateo. The first thing El Pozolero does is place the bodies inside a barrel, which he fills with caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, then covers the drums, stirring occasionally. After 24 hours, there's nothing left but a thick sludge, a stew. He pours this into a pit. Any leftover teeth or bone fragments he smashes into dust. Last year, more than 300 people disappeared in San Mateo. Their families have no idea if their loved ones are alive or dead. They can't have proper burials, they can't have closure. The only one who knows what truly happened to these people is El Pozolero, the monster who melted them.
Chabelita. Mi Chabelita. I wish you could talk to me right now. I don't know how long I've been here for. I can hear the wolves at the door. Los sicarios del cartel. They're here for me. I just couldn't stand it. Couldn't take the corruption, the blackmailing, the threats. Have to speak out. I know I jeopardized the legacy I wanted to leave for you, for our kids. I fought for a free Bolivia. I'm so sorry it had to end like this. For leaving you behind with this message as my testament. I just want you to know that no matter what happens, I love you, mi Chabelita Dorada. And I will love you forever.
Ping pong, give me the hand of that dead man. I need his limbs to put in the can. I work with lots of corpses, I make them disappear. With magic dust I'll turn them into wistu la 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 la. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong.
Nació en el norte de México, cerca de la frontera.
Sí, I delivered those borregas to El Pozolero. He's got the ingredients for his stew. I gotta say, that fucking guy. You remember that old TV show when the old pendejo played the 8-year-old kid?
Shit, yeah. The guy with the ear flaps. Eso. Papa loved that fucking show.
El Pozolero is like an evil version of that guy. And not funny.
He creeps you out, way. Unless you want to do his job.
Fuck that shit. I'm just saying. I'm using his delivery service next time. I'm not talking to that cabrón ever again. I'll catch you later.
Ahí te miro.
Ma, I'm fine, yes?
No, Ramon. I know you. You are not fine. I am your mother. So don't lie to me.
Ma, you know it has changed my life. Carajo. I do the best I can not to think about it. But those bastards, esos hijoputas, ma, I'm helping them destroy my country, kill my people.
Cariño, you only work for them. You hear me, Ramon? So stop doing that to you, chiquito. You are a hero. You are a survivor. You are doing that to protect the people.
Hero? Soy un traidor. I've betrayed my people. They are holding Bolivia hostage. And I help them get to the people. I help them recruit sicarios using 12-year-old kids as cannon fodder. I'm stuck. I can't look at myself in the mirror. I helped kill.
No, Ramon. Listen, you are not a murderer. They are. You do this to protect your familia.
Major General Barro is a patriot. He runs Unidad, the Bolivian military police force from main operating base Jaguar in Flor de Oro. When Santa Blanca first arrived in Bolivia, they went to war with Unidad. Innocent civilians got caught in the crossfire. The death toll was tremendous. Barrow had seen a lot of death in his life and was desperate to bring peace back to his country. So he brokered a backroom deal between El Sueño and the Bolivian government. Unidad agreed to look the other way and let Santa Blanca run their business. In exchange, the cartel promised to keep their killings to a minimum. Obviously, the results have been a mixed bag. The relationship between Santa Blanca and Unidad is tense. Now that Bolivia has become a full-fledged narco state, I believe that he is starting to regret his decision. Major General Barrow is either one of our most dangerous enemies or our greatest ally. There's only one way to find out which.
S2 would further advise implementation of additional observation posts to support base security. Regarding road security, Base Jaguar is overly dependent on outside supplies, and security on rail lines into Jaguar is insufficient to ensure the integrity of base operations. Air operations should be implemented on a regular basis to guarantee resupply. Security in Flor de Oro is too centralized around Base Jaguar, and company-sized cluster bases should be implemented immediately. Lastly, air supply should be used due to the vulnerability of the rail lines.
Carl Buchart, my chief combat trainer, tells me he's had trouble receiving your assistance in Montuyoc. General Barrow, the conditions of our agreement are very simple. My people need security. Unidad provides it. No one in Bolivia gets hurt.
And Unidad has kept that agreement to the letter.
To the letter of the agreement, but perhaps not in the spirit.
Unidad will provide you with security in Montuyoc and wherever else you may need it in Bolivia. Pero Buchart demanded that we pursue rebels into Peru. At the very least, I must respect the borders of a sovereign nation. You must comprehend the consequences of Bolivian military forces crossing the borders into Peru.
To pursue enemies of the Peruvian government? General, you are making excuses for the laziness of your subordinates. Perhaps Unidad's culture is too hierarchical. Your organization might benefit from a decentralized command structure. Naturally, if you're not the man to implement this restructuring initiative, perhaps I can speak with my friends in La Paz. Should they persuade El Presidente to find a suitable replacement for you?
We are both caballeros, Sueño. You may speak plainly with me, and I will speak with my men. I will encourage them to be more creative in their problem-solving.
Bueno, Unidad will only improve in quality as its outlook adjusts.
There were 4 people in the room the night DEA agent Ricky Sandoval was murdered. El Sueño, the head of the Santa Blanca cartel, Ricky, and the last 2 were La Yuri and El Polito. Yuri and Polito met at a poor state-run hospital in Chiapas, where El Polito was doing his residency and La Yuri worked as a nurse. It was love at first sight. From the first moment their eyes met, they were inseparable. A love like no other. One day, a buchon named La Plaga walked into the ER, all shot up. It was touch and go for a while, but Yuri and Polito were able to save his life. La Plaga was grateful. He showered them with gifts, invitations to the most exclusive parties, even a new car. And after a while, La Plaga made Yuri and Polito the personal medical staff of the Santa Blanca cartel. But that wasn't their main job. See, Yuri and Polito know about the human body. They know how much pain a person can endure before he'll die. They know how to keep a person alive and awake so they can feel the pain. And most of all, they know how to inflict that pain. That's what they do in Itaqua province. When Santa Blanca captures someone that refuses to talk, La Yuri and El Polito make them talk. They break people. Like I said, There were 4 people in the room the night Ricky Sandoval was murdered. Sueño, Ricky, Yuri, and Polito. They kept Ricky alive while Sueño tortured him. Non-stop for 47 hours straight. They broke Ricky Sandoval. Then Sueño executed him.
Oh yeah, Yuri. How long has that guy been hanging there?
Yo no sé, amor. Maybe 12 hours?
Is he still alive? Check if he's breathing.
Ah, él está muerto. He's dead. He must have choked to death under that hood. Look at that boner.
Mierda, I told you the hood was too tight.
That's a big boner. I'm taking his pants off.
Yuri.
Ay, are you jealous of a corpse, bizcocho?
What the hell, Yuri?
Whoa, ooh. That guy Cox stinks like shit. And he could have learned some grooming or something, but damn. It's like a chorizo that got rolled around in dog hair.
Will you help me cut him down already?
Or like somebody peeled a banana, covered it in butterscotch and, whoops, dropped it on the barbershop floor.
Yuri, knock it off.
Oh, it's starting to sag. Now it looks like a toucan that hasn't shaved for a month.
Amor, por favor, get your face out of there.
El Sueño, the sicarios have found the escaped prisoner in the village of Culta.
What a wonderful name for a town. They were protecting him?
Sí. The village is known to Unidad as a haven for rebels.
Why do these rebels even bother? Kill them all. The whole village. Visit divine wrath upon Culta. And wipe it off the face of the earth.
Claro, al rato.
Camaradas, hermanos, fellow cocaleros. I look at your faces and I see the scars the men of the Santa Blanca have left on this land. Stealing our coca, threatening our way of life, burning our houses, murdering our children. A trail of ash and blood. The blood of the people of Bolivia. The same blood that was running in the veins of Tupac Katari, the great Aymara leader who fought the Spanish conquistadores 300 years ago. We are tired. We are hungry. We are desperate. But this blood still runs in our veins. We are Bolivians. Mientras que respiremos, seremos libres. No weapon, no threat, no cartel can take that away from us. I look at your faces and I don't see cocaleros. I see warriors. I see resistant fighters. I see the seed of this freedom that we Bolivians hold so dear. We will oppose them. We will fight them everywhere. We will hunt their worst nightmares until one day they are forced to leave our sacred land. Today, I am not a cocalero. Today, I shall be called Pac Katari. And I take an oath to lead us, the rebels, to victory.
Get ready. Odds left, evens right. Focus on your goddamn sectors this time.
Carl Buchhardt, former sergeant, 3rd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, natural-born killer.
Show me what you got, cocksuckers. Make me hard. Go, go, go!
Carl was in and out of juvie from around age 15. Records are sealed, but the pattern is what you'd expect. At 18, a judge gave him the choice of joining the army or doing jail time. Buchart thrived in the army. After graduating from Ranger School, he deployed to Iraq with 3rd Battalion in 2003. He finally found his place and was looking to make the army his career. And then in 2005, his patrol hit an IED in downtown Ramadi. Buchart didn't take to civilian life. Couldn't keep a job for more than a couple of weeks, and started having run-ins with the cops again. Started telling anyone who'd listen about how the army fucked him over. Eventually, he started spending time over the border in Juarez. God knows what Buchart was looking for down there, but eventually he crossed paths with El Muro, head of Santa Blanca security. They share some beers, maybe some blow. Buchart gets to talking about his army days. El Muro is impressed. He knows the real thing when he sees it. He asks Buchart to come to Bolivia to train the cartel's army in the Montiel province. El Muro wants them to be the best force of its kind in all of South America. And Buchart is just the kind of man he's looking for. The kind of man who can run combat drills, show a bunch of morons how to field strip a G-36 in 2 minutes flat. The kind of man who can turn narcos into elite soldiers.
I swear my oath as a sicario to serve El Sueño and the leaders of the Santa Blanca cartel without question. I will act without hesitation or fear. I will kill without mercy or remorse. If captured, I will keep the secrets of the cartel to my dying breath. These are the words you will live by for the rest of your days. Santa Muerte will judge you if you don't. First training cycle graduated 84 sicarios out of a class of 200. Aside from basic physical and mental conditioning, they received basic and advanced firearms training, hand-to-hand combat, first aid, and basic infantry training. Since graduation, these sicarios have accumulated a total of 431 kills. This includes 47 policemen, 30 soldiers, and 11 high-value targets such as judges, businessmen, and politicians. 8 sicarios have been killed and another 12 injured. 2 of the dead were killed by their teammates to prevent their capture by law enforcement, just as they had been trained to do. Most importantly, the sicarios have completed every mission they were assigned to do, regardless of the target. 8 police officers shot dead outside La Paz. A prosecutor's son kidnapped and killed in Sucre. No hesitation, no remorse. The conditioning process is working as planned. End of report.
We sent 200 recruits to Montauk last month. 200. Your man Buchart sent 40 of them back. And now you're telling me another 30 have been injured or killed in training? What the hell is happening down there?
Buchart doesn't hold back. He trains the men the way he expects them to fight. That means live ammunition, live grenades, close-quarter training with real knives. Mistakes happen. They're often fatal.
What good does that do us? We need soldiers, El Muro, not invalids and corpses.
And you will have him, Jefe. Buchart will take the very best of those 200 recruits and turn them into elite soldiers that are tougher and better trained than any other force in Bolivia. Nothing will ever fucking stop him.
Nothing, El Muro? Not even ghosts?
I don't understand.
Never mind. Send me 50 of these elite sicarios as soon as they are ready. I may have a use for them.
Look, I'm not asking for an army, Comandante Buchart. Just a few of your best to provide security for me and my family.
I don't make the assignments, Boquita. You'll have to talk to El Muro.
Talking to El Muro is the last thing I want to do right now. Look, anything I say to him will go straight to El Sueño, you understand? That's not good for me.
Sounds like you stepped in some shit.
Nothing I can't handle, okay? I just can't take care of business while I'm looking over my shoulder every fucking minute, you know? I have a daughter to protect.
And you want round-the-clock security for you and your family. That's 10 to 12 men minimum. What's in it for me?
You send me some of your best, I send you some of mine. Premium grade polvo, hermano. She will blow your mind.
I'll tell you what. You run me over a sample, and if it's all you say it is, I'll arrange an extended field exercise for some of my men.
Done?
Intel on this guy is sketchy at best. The cartel and the Bolivians call him El Comandante. Age unknown, birthplace unknown, real name unknown. An officer in Unidad, Bolivia's military police, El Comandante made a name for himself hunting down rebels. The rebels had something of a foothold in Media Luna until El Comandante and Unidad arrived in force. It was a slaughter. Rumor has it our boy personally took a few scalps as souvenirs. On paper, he's a lieutenant colonel. In reality, he wields the kind of authority reserved for legends. And he's been using that authority to put Unidad to work for Santa Blanca. But the way he's been insinuating Unidad into the cartel's operation should make Sueño worry. If it were up to him, Sueño wouldn't work with anyone from Unidad. His problem is the rebels. You can't fight what you don't know. And if there's one thing El Comandante knows, it's the rebels. Without him, Media Luna would be in rebel-controlled territory. Like all good frenemies, Sueño keeps a close eye on El Comandante, careful never to let down his guard.
Yo no sé, Jerry. I wouldn't join Unidad. It's not for me.
Carajo. They pay pretty good. My cousin just joined up and he threw the best party with his signing bonus.
Money's not the problem, compa.
Pues, ¿cuál es el problema?
The Mexicans.
What about them?
Oh, come on, man. You know as well as I do, in the end, Unidad works for them.
Quizás. Seems like everybody is these days. Anyway, maybe they're not as bad as they seem.
Working for the Mexicanos is not for me. I'll sell them coca leaves, but I don't want no foreign jefe.
This is Unidad AF 1401. Any Unidad ground forces in the area? Report.
Unidad AF 1401. This is Unidad GP 6519. What do you need?
I just spotted 4 suspicious-looking Yankees roaming about below me. Can you get up on the ridge and check them out?
What do you mean suspicious?
You wouldn't call 4 Americanos dressed in camouflage and waving around guns suspicious?
Sounds like tourists to me.
Look, pull your thumbs out of your cowardly asses and hustle over to the location I'm sending you. Pronto, or I'll be sure to tell El Sueño what kind of lazy fuck-ups you guys happen to be.
Man, some people just can't take a joke.